Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Poles and Podiums podcast. As always, I'm your host, Richard, joined as usual with Quad E, motorsports enthusiast and musician. What's up, man? How you doing today?
Man, good. Just chilling after this crazy fucking first wet race of the season. Shit was wild, son.
Man, that was a fantastic Canadian Grand Prix. The Canadian Grand Prix is always good, but it was definitely a banger this year. Um, Something about wet races, man. The parity, the tire strategies that come into play, it it always delivers when it's a wet race.
But that's the thing, it wasn't even a completely wet race because it started out wet, it dried up almost completely, and then got wet again at the end.
Exactly. And that's what
Which
made it
made,
great is
yeah,
that you had to strategize what tires to use. What tires am I going to use to start? What tires am I going to use later? When do we come in on slicks? Do we come in on slicks
at all.
like at all?
Yeah,
Because wet races also bring safety cars. They bring crashes. They bring Logan Sargent twice.
twice, dude.
Twice.
He,
They bring
he
Checo
handled.
Perez as well.
We'll get into that a little
But
later.
we'll get into that in
And
another
Williams.
episode. We do not have time to cover Checo Perez in this episode. Everybody who is a fan of this podcast, everybody who knows me, you know how I feel about Checo. So, I have definitely got some things to say after this contract extension and then following it up with this. But got a surprise coming for you guys in response to Checo. So stay tuned. Be on the lookout for the next episode because we've got something special for you guys.
Yes, sir.
But back to the Canadian Grand Prix. Wet race holiday. Man, I loved it. It was a circus between between weather conditions and groundhogs. Canada is always going to deliver. I love this track.
Dude, Canada has been one of my favorite tracks ever since I started playing the game. It's just the way that the sectors and the way that it winds, and it's like not really any slow turns except for the last one, but then it's flat fucking out until the last chicane. Like shit gets crazy, and that was my you said the field caught up, but I don't necessarily think the field caught up. I think if it was dry and Max didn't have any steering problems, he would have been gone on everyone. I mean, him and they got the same lap time, bro. Him and
George.
Osama bin Russell.
George Osama bin Russell. So I think the field did close up. In quali, you didn't see Red Bull dominate the field. In practice, you didn't see Red Bull dominate the field. You saw Mercedes dominate the field, which was fucking mind-blowing for
True.
me anyway, to see Mercedes up there fighting like they were something that like they've just been there. It was
100%.
it was a little wild. But I have to say, I feel like the pack did close up. There was a point during the race had Logan Sargent not done what Logan Sargent does, Lando had like 11, 12 fucking seconds on Max and was just gapping, bruh. Like, the safety car saved it. Like, as a Max fan, like, the wall behind me is the wall of Max Verstappen. But I have to admit, like, had the safety car not come out, I think Lando would have been gone. Lando almost had a free pit stop in hand when that safety car came out.
Yeah.
And he had no sign of slowing down. So the field closed up, in my opinion. Like we've seen tight racing. We've had 3-4 race winners in 3 or 4 races. You know, we're starting to see that competition and that parity in the races. And yeah, this was a wet race, which obviously is going to contribute to that. But it's been a trend across multiple tracks, not just this one. And this one, it really showed up when, Max didn't even take a clean pole as he usually does. That's saying something. And had it been Lando that tied him, or Piastri, or even Charles, understandable. But for George?
Yeah. Speaking on that though, on Charles and Carlos, where the fuck were they at?
Ferrari did not have the right strategy this weekend.
They pulled the Ferrari strategy once again.
They killed my fantasy team. I had
Dude,
put them in as a constructor because they had been looking really good, and they
that was a good
murdered
decision.
my fantasy team.
That was a great decision. I'm in second place, baby.
I'm sure you are. I haven't even looked at the standings because I know I just got crushed.
Yeah,
this season.
Your ass whipped.
Oh man, that week sucked for me.
Yeah, it did. It sucked for them too, especially coming off a win.
It is rough. I don't expect to see that consistently though.
I don't either, but
I expect us to see some quality action from them in the Spanish Grand Prix coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Going to Barcelona, that's a fantastic track. That's a quick track.
Yeah, it is.
I expect to see Ferrari back on pace, back on form.
Yeah, but I also expect to see Red Bull back on form, or at least Max.
I do, but going back to kind of one of the topics that we had talked about several weeks ago, I guess there's no way to get into this conversation without bringing up Checo. I'm just going to try not to go too far into him. We've had so many setbacks as a team. Yeah, we were dominating and we were winning, but if you take a step back from that victory and the podiums and look at the team development, we've taken some major hits and some major losses over the last 3 years that has given everybody that chance to catch up. Between the breach of the salary cap, winning first place again, which has just limited us. We have a salary cap now. Checo Perez last season led the he led the grid in damage to the vehicle all the way up to the last race. Like several million, more than 2 million, more than the allotted amount. So when you do that as a driver, you can't help but take away from the development for the team, because now you have to take that money, that allotment that was supposed to go to developing that car, and you have to invest it in rebuilding and replacing and fixing. And, it's killing us, man. It's killing us. And he's already there again this year. He's already over his allotment this year. Yeah. So the development for next year's car is probably going to be even less, because we're taking penalties already that we don't need to take as a team. And that adds up, man. It adds up. Small changes matter. You have a team bring one wing change to a car and pick up some pace, and when we don't have the ability to do that because we're limited by budget or we're limited by wind tunnel time, those they're going to start showing up.
100%.
I also hate to be that guy because I'm a huge Adrian Newey fan, but we should not have adopted the failed Mercedes side pod design.
Obviously not. It was failed.
We changed the car so drastically this year. It took like a hard left, and I don't think that it was the right change. I think we should have stuck with what we were doing, because we were on a fantastic trajectory, and the changes that we made to the car do not seem to be as beneficial as what they had hoped they would be.
I don't think they're beneficial at all compared to where we were last year.
It's a very different car. It's a very different look, which is great for Formula One. It's great for the fans. It's great for parity in the races. But for a Red Bull fan, it sucks. Like we're
100%.
And I'm sure there's so many of you out there that are just like, oh, boo fucking who? Boo fucking who? You're not winning every race. But we want to. Yeah, regardless of how many races we win, we're here to win. Every one of you that is here is hoping that your team takes a win. Even if your team is not a front runner team, you're praying that this is the race that we see Bottas Bowling take out the front half of the grid and your team makes it to the podium. So regardless of how often we're winning, we still want to win. we want to be that team that takes the W every time, and should. That's what we're here for. It's competition. Speaking of competition, so Gunther Steiner was a failure. He was a funny guy. He was entertaining, but see what Ayao Komatsu has done with this team in 8 weeks.
Yep. After
taking over suddenly, and just it is a night and day different operation down there at Haas.
Haas is not the worst team on the grid anymore.
They're not. Haas looks fantastic, and they do some sometimes wonky looking or wonky seeming shit, but it works and it pays off and it's scoring points. Like, I don't know what the recipe is yet that Ayao Komatsu is cooking up, but let that motherfucker cook, because he is working something. He is working some magic, man.
100%.
The wet tires in Canada.
To get a Haas into 5th place, I don't care how long it was for, dude.
Everybody was like, Haas is on wets? That's a horrible idea. The audio of Jolie and Palmer just before the race, they're going to be those cars are going to be so slow on the wet tires. That's the wrong move for Haas. The wrong move for Haas. And then K-Mag was fucking gone. Gone. He went from the back of the grid to 5th place. Had they not had a bad pit stop, he may have even kept going up and run for a podium. Like, the man makes some sometimes wild seeming decisions, but they pay off, man. And
100%.
He has turned that team around. And it's also nice to see Gunther is a cameraman. He wants to be in front of the camera. He wanted to be talking. When you see like the footage of them on the grid, Ayao Komatsu is moving tents. He's down there constructing. Like, he is a part of that team 100%. 100%. He is not just the head. And that leadership trickles down. And he's making some moves. It's
dope to see.
At the beginning of the season, had you asked me if Haas was a team that people should want to go to, I just said no way in fucking hell. But what he is showing so far in this season, I think that Haas being off the table for drivers in the market that need a seat right now shouldn't be off the market.
Yeah.
Because they are showing something special for where their expectations were.
They're showing more than Haas or Kick. Or I mean, more than Alpine or Kick.
Alpine and Kick, they're kicking the shit out of, like, they're a true midfield team now. They're not a back marker. And Gene Haas is a fucking tightwad. He does not like spending money on that team.
No,
but if you're winning, you incentivize him to invest more.
Yeah.
Like, he's far more inclined to help provide a bigger budget and invest more into the development of this team and the winning ways of this team if the team is performing.
I think the team needs to take its first win before he puts anything actually real into it, though.
He's got some work to do. They do have some work to do. And it's never going to be a short road for anybody. But I think that they now have the proper leadership in place to take that team to where it could go.
Yeah. Way more than what Gunther was ever going to fucking do with it.
Oh, yeah. Gunther was just... I think that a big part of that, too, is that Gunther took on far more than he should have.
Oh, yeah.
Gunther had every role. He was finding sponsors. He was doing this. He was doing that. He was drumming up money. He was trying to get attention. He never was really focused on the racing. And the team. And as a result, they kind of created this media monster of Gunther, Mr. Drive to Survive, that I think it hurt them.
Yeah.
He became more that than the team principal of Haas. And that's when the team really started failing. Because there was a time that Haas looked competitive. But the more he became Gunther of Drive to Survive in everything, the worse the team did. And Ayao does not want to talk to the camera.
100%.
He's not.
I don't even know what that dude looks like.
Yeah, I know what he looks like, and I recognize him on the grid, but you don't see interviews with him. You don't
Yeah.
see him talking. He is there to do work. He don't want that attention. He is here to run this team and to put something special together.
100%. And he's doing a good job too for that fucking piece of shit that he took over.
He is
shining that third
team
night.
Was a shit show.
100%.
So it's good to see that team making some moves, especially they're the American team. Yep. You know, we want to see them do well. They are. I don't care where they're headquartered. You have to be headquartered around shit. Andretti Racing. You're going to say Andretti Racing is not a true American team? They just built their headquarters in England to be around Silverstone. That's what you do in Formula One. If you're going to be in Formula One, you don't want to have to ship everything from the U.S. to every European race. You want to be able to take advantage of that shipping and just tracking, put it on rail that all the other teams do.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I want to see them do well. And I also want to see them be competitive enough that drivers want to go there, that you're not just picking up whatever F2 driver happens to be low-hanging fruit at the time.
Yeah, it's okay enough to come into the sport. Or whatever driver fell off of, like Carlos, because he had no other fucking place to go.
Or nobody at all wanted to fucking drive, so you had to call up Kevin Magnussen off the couch.
Yeah.
Like, they're not that team anymore. And it's awesome to see. All right. So, next race, as we mentioned, Barcelona, Spanish Grand Prix. It's going to be a fantastic race. We expect to see a lot of these teams return to their form. Who do you expect to dominate in Spain?
To be honest with you, I think Carlos is going to come back pretty hard. I don't know if Carlos is going to win, but I think Carlos has been sitting back for a while. Him and Carlos both have a win now, or him and Charles both have a win now. So I think he's like, dude, I'm home. I need to take this fucking Grand Prix, and it needs to be my win. And I think he's going to be on point. I think Max is obviously going to be up there, and I don't think anyone can really deny Lando being up there at this point either. Which I love to see. I may be a Red Bull and a Max Verstappen fan, but I have always fucked with Lando. Lando is like a year older than me, and I feel like me and Lando would be homies. So, I'm just saying, Lando's a fucking goofy motherfucker.
It's like, hey, Lando, if you happen to see this, we should link, bro.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying, bro. Literally my age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's cool to see him up there. But other than that, I feel like it's wide the fuck open right now.
I agree. I think that would be my podium call. If I was going to call the podium for the Spanish Grand Prix, I'd probably say Max, Carlos, Lando.
Yeah. In what order? We'll see.
Yeah. Yet to be seen. But it is also the race that we have F1 Academy returning, so we would be back to the F1 Academy grid for Barcelona as well. Back to that action and seeing these ladies go around the track. So be on the lookout for that as well. That coverage is also on F1 TV. If you are a subscriber, make sure that you check out those practice sessions, quali sessions, support those girls as well. We will be coming with it. Yeah, they're great. The racing is great.
It's good racing.
Like, if you didn't know that they were female drivers, it is exciting racing. Period. Like, they're good races.
Yeah.
So you should definitely check them out. So any closing thoughts that you'd like to go out
on? Not really, to be honest with you. Canada is lit. We'll see what happens in Barcelona. Barcelona is also a pretty awesome track, so
it is.
Well, we'll see what happens. I think it's pretty. Like I said last time, it's pretty wide the fuck open. It's not so much Max winning. Oh, Carlos took one, Max winning. Like, you know what I mean? So for it to be kind of open, of like, oh, what the fuck is gonna happen? Like, you know what I mean?
Genuine excitement.
Yeah.
Genuine excitement.
It's not okay. Look, oh, Max is winning. Yep. Okay,
Yeah,
what next? Like, you know,
there could be a different winner every race, and that's
exactly.
awesome. All right, my closing thoughts are it's going to be a whole lot of motorsports this weekend. So you guys make sure that you catch up on as much as you can. Again, we got Barcelona coming. We've got the 24 Hours of Le Mans that, as we are recording this, was currently running practice. So we are going to be giving you the update on that after Hyperpole is finished for you WEC fans as well. So be on the lookout for that video. And we also have, as we previously teased before, we have a driver market video coming up where we will be going in depth talking about Checo Perez. And we have a special thing that we're going to be doing for that one. Be on the lookout for it. We are going to be doing a giveaway. It is going to be your benefit for me completely disowning Checo from my wall of Red Bull. My decision to completely remove Checo from my wall at this point is going to be your gain. So I'll show you guys what we have in the next episode. We've got some really awesome stuff. We're going to do a giveaway. We'll run it for a couple months. We'll figure out what race weekend we'll end it on, and we'll draw a random winner and shoot it out to you. We may just do a couple winners and shoot the runners up some merch as well. So be on the lookout for that video coming out soon. Thank you guys, as always, for watching. We appreciate all your support. Be on the lookout for us at several race events coming up. We're going to try to get to as many as possible. So soon we will be bringing you guys content of us actually attending, taking you to the pits at races and race events and things like that to kind of show you a day in what we do when we get to go to race weekends and get to experience it with us. So
Yes,
thanks
sir.
again for watching. We appreciate you guys. Catch you next time. Have a great one.